Hi everybody. It's been a while. Welcome to the Cozy Cardigans podcast. My name is Mel. I'm the owner and dyer of Big Little Yarn Co. And I'm back from a trip to the US. So I think the last time we talked was mid-October, and then things got kind of busy. Couldn't record the end of October, and then I went to the US like towards the beginning of November for a few weeks to celebrate Thanksgiving and also my 30th birthday with my family, which was really nice. So it was really nice break to have, but we are back in Japan. I'm back dyeing yarn, dyeing up the pre-orders from the last pre-order collection, and yeah, I just wanted to check in with you. So I don't don't have a ton to show, mostly because I just haven't had time to knit as much as I usually would have, I feel like. In the US, it wasn't really a relaxing time per se, just because we were meeting up with family and friends and doing all like the holiday stuff. Not holiday, but like Thanksgiving stuff. So it was a bit busy, and then time flies, and now we're here. So I'll show you what I have. I'll show you what I have to show, but it's not much. So it'll probably be quite a short episode. But anyways, here we go. First off, I do have one FO. I didn't bring it with me because I totally just forgot. And also I wore it yesterday, so I just didn't really think about wearing it today, because I wasn't planning on recording till like 10 minutes ago. So well, what I'm currently, first let me just talk about what I'm currently wearing first. I'm currently wearing the Gently Chaotic Knits dad sweater by Emily Curtis of Gently Chaotic Knits. This is like one of my most worn pieces. You could kind of see that it needs a good deep pilling, but yeah, this is one of my favorite sweaters. I really want to make another one. It's got like the perfect amount of big baggy ease to be able to layer a bunch of stuff underneath. It's pretty cold here in where I live in Japan, in Hyogo. So it's really nice, and it is knit with Woolentwine, one of their limited edition bases, I guess. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it is like some type of virgin wool. I can't quite remember, but I'll put all the info down below in the description box. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing. And I also finished the Strata, my Strata tank, my Strata top by Jacqueline Cieslak. I'll put photos here. I took some FO photos and posted it on Instagram the other day. And yeah, it works perfectly, like exactly what I thought. I really wanted it to be both a summer and a winter piece. I just wanted it to be really layerable, and I think I really made that happen. I sized up, so I went one size bigger than called for in the pattern, and I also knit it quite long compared to what she recommends in the pattern. And yeah, it works perfectly. It fits over sweaters and like thermals really well, and I kind of imagine being able to layer it with like like a spaghetti strap or tank tops and like t-shirts and stuff like that when the weather gets a bit warmer. So yeah, I finished that right before I left for the US, and then in the US I pretty much was only knitting on two smallish projects, one larger project that I didn't really end up getting a ton of stitches in. But yeah, anyways, let me show it to you. So first off is my usual train knitting. So for those of you who are new or don't know, I always take a basic sock with me on the train. And so I already finished one, so this was like cast on and knit before I was able to talk to you. I love how this is a really old Big Little Yarn Co colorway. This is Beetlejuice, I really want to bring it back, and it actually looks kind of Christmassy, unintentionally, but also kind of grungy, and I really love the micro stripes. It's really fun to knit up. There's like so many colors, so each stitch is really fun. So yeah, just like my basic 66 stitch sock. So I finished that one, and I'm currently in the middle of the gusset decreases here. So I've just been knitting on this whenever I am sitting on the train. And yeah, that's just my current basic sock project. And then, quite unlike me, I also have one other sock project. I usually only have one sock project at a time, just because I like to have like one or two garment. I'm like more of a garment knitter, so I usually like to have 1 to 2 garments plus one accessory on the side, and the accessory tends to be socks. But I casted these, I saw these and I casted them on immediately. I do have one already made, so this is also like another half finished object. But these are the Under the Quilt socks by Stone Knits, and I made this out of my deep stash. I don't even know what the main color is. I lost the ball band like years and years ago. I just remember that it's some kind of cashmere blend. I have no idea who and what it is, but the bright blue contrast color is Uncommon Threads Azurite, I want to say. But I've just been kind of, this ball of contrast color has been going for a while, so I've just been trying to use it up. So currently knitting, finishing up the leg on the second sock. Yeah, so one thing you may notice if you have seen the pattern before is that I did do a heel flap and gusset. I'm not really a short row heel type of girly. It just does not fit on my heel. I think I talked about this a while ago, but I do like to do like short rows within the short row heel in order to make the heel fit. But the thing about this pattern is that if you do short rows within the short rows, it wouldn't really work out. Well, maybe you could kind of figure it out and work it out, but anyways, I just prefer a heel flap and gusset in general, and I am really hard-headed when it comes to, I really don't want to do a short row heel. It just, even when I make it fit my foot, I just prefer heel flap and gusset so much more. So what I did to make the color work continuous, because for those of you who have knit socks before, you know that when you do the gusset decreases, like there's just this section of non-color work in addition to the color work. Like usually the whole round would be color work, but when you get to the gusset, you can see here that I stopped doing color work because of these decreases that happen here. It would kind of screw up the color work pattern, because obviously it needs to be a certain amount of stitches in order to continuously make this motif. So what I did was, and I don't know if this is like bad or what, I mean, like, I feel like it's not that big of a deal, but what I did was I just carried, I don't know if you could see here, this section here is the gusset decreases, or are the gusset decrease sections without the color work. You can kind of see it here as well. Like you could see like this continuous chain of where I picked up the contrast color yarn, so that it's not like this long dangly piece, but that it's attached every 4 stitches, I believe I did. So that way, you know, the contrast color isn't just floating in the back. At least it's kind of stabilized. But yeah, I just kind of brought it along towards the back until I got to the portion at the leg where the color work happens. So essentially I carried it, did the color work, carried it all the way until right about this point is when the gusset decreases ended, and I can continue doing the color work as written because I finally hit the required number of stitches called for in the pattern. So this is where the gusset decreases end, and then this is where the color work continues on in the round. I hope that makes sense, but anyways, it worked out. It does feel a little tight at the gusset decreases part, but it's not that big of a deal to me, and it's actually quite cozy and thick, which I really like about this. So yeah, so once I get to the heel portion, I will knit the heel flap just as usual, turn the heel just as usual, pick up the gusset stitches as usual, and then just carry the contrast color yarn in the back, which is not per usual, but it worked out. So for those of you who like colorwork socks but really want a heel flap and gusset kind of heel, it's possible. It's just a little finicky. But yeah, I mean, it's just gonna go on your feet. So it's not too big of a deal for me. But yeah, these are really cozy and nice and wintry. So I'm excited to finish these off hopefully soon. But yeah, again, Under the Quilt Socks by Stone Knits. And then last but not least, I am, of course, doing a garment project, and it is kind of in this little needle that isn't big enough for the whole motif to show, but you can kind of see it. I'll stretch it out here. It looks so cool. This is the Recursion pullover by Kim Paquette. I think that's how you say her last name. But I love how this looks. This is such a cool yoke. It's just like a big scribble almost, but a big scribble that makes sense, which I really love about it. It is a super fun, stitches are coming off. It is a super fun color work motif. Really challenging in that there really is no, there's no pattern to it because it's so scribbly, but that's like the fun part, to see what happens next. So for the main color, I am using Coraline by Big Little Yarn Co. by me. It's a spooky summer colorway. And then the contrast color is a club yarn from Olann. The color is unnamed. I don't believe they labeled the colorway name, so I'm not sure what it is. But it's just this really, really dark purple. I don't know if you could see it, but it's like a very dark heathered purple, and it works really well with Coraline. And this, I should say, is on my Peruvian wool fingering base, which is quite cozy. Let me see if I can show you. So this is the Olann color. You could kind of see the heathering to it. This is their Mills yarn, which Olann is now out of business, so you can't get it, unfortunately. So this is quite special. I love the like brighter purple specks that show through though. And then let me see if I could grab a little ball. And then you could see Coraline in a little ball. I am alternating skeins, as you should, for hand-dyed yarn. I am just alternating every round. So at the beginning of the round, I drop the old Coraline, or like ball number 1 of Coraline, and pick up ball number 2 and just keep moving on that way. It's really hard to see any, what do you call it, difference at the start of the color work, just because like the color work is so complicated. I feel like it's kind of hard to tell where it even begins and ends anyways. But yeah, this is really fun. It's really difficult to knit though, like not difficult as in skill wise, difficult as in it's really hard for me to find the time to knit this, because you really have to, like, it's just, I can't watch a show while I knit this. I have to listen to something and make sure I look at it and knit it, because the color work is quite complex. So I kind of just have to like be in the zone. But usually at night I am not in the zone. I'm usually, lately, have been quite tired from work and taking care of my son and stuff. So this has kind of been on the back burner, but it is quite fun to knit when I do have time for it. I'm trying not to be too, you know, hard on myself when it comes to knitting. You know, it's not really something I want to stress myself out about. So it's just been on the needles, and it's slowly going, and it's really fun, and that's the important part. So yeah, these are my 3 projects, and that's pretty much what I've been knitting lately. I have been itching to cast on a shawl project, but I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not really a shawl scarf person. I'm really just more of a wear a turtleneck and be done with it kind of person. So anyways, I've been itching for it, but I know that my time can be used in other projects in a more efficient way. But anyways, so it's been on my mind, but whatever. So those are my knitting projects, and I'm now going into my reads. Since it's been such a long time since I last caught up with you for book reading, I'm just gonna read off, I have a little paper, my top 5 that I've read since mid-October. So I'm just gonna go through and talk about those, because I read more than that, and it will take me a really long time to talk about it. So first off is called Green Frog and Other Stories by Gina Chung. I gave this 4 stars, and it's a short story collection, which is really fun. For those of you who aren't into reading or want to get into reading, I recommend short story collections, because you could just like read a story every day and it's not like a huge deal. So Green Frog and Other Stories is mostly centered around the stories of children of Asian immigrants within America. So it was really interesting and cool to see the representation of, and I really enjoyed this collection. I gave 4 stars. Next, I read Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. I think this is his most recent novel, and I actually really liked it. I feel like I could see some people not liking it, most because of the ending, but I was a fan of the ending. So if you're interested in interesting haunted house, kids seeing an imaginary friend that's not really an imaginary friend, I recommend this one. It is 4 stars for me. Next, I read In Universes by Emmett North, and this is about, you follow a girl through multiple parallel universes, which is really interesting. So like you could see where her life would have gone if she made decision A over decision B, and like if, you know, there was a worldwide apocalypse, or like in this universe, you know, this happened, or that kind of thing. It's really interesting to see how these different decisions can shape us. And I gave this 4.5 stars. And I also read a horror short story collection. It is called At Home with the Horrors by Sammy Scott. I think this is a really good like if you're into creepy, scary, spooky stuff during the winter time, it's not really based on winter, but for some reason, just reading a short story collection during the winter time just sounds really cozy to me. And it was quite cozy, so I do highly recommend it. The last story is actually a novella, and I really enjoyed that one as well. But a lot of the stories were quite creepy. I enjoyed a lot of them. Some were like, not duds, but like not as creepy, but I feel like mostly all around it was one of my favorite horror short story collections. So I gave it 4 stars. And then last but not least, it's another short story collection, is Deception by Roald Dahl. So like Roald Dahl, I'm sure you've heard of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Matilda, but he also wrote a lot of adult, not adult as in X-rated, but like stories for adults. And so there are these collections that you could get of different Roald Dahl short stories, and this collection is called Deception because it is about people who lie. And so a lot of these are not meant for children, and some of them can get creepy and weird, which I really enjoy. And honestly, one of my favorite Roald Dahl stuff to read now that I'm an adult and I don't really read things like Matilda anymore. But yeah, Deception by Roald Dahl. I gave it 5 stars. This is a reread, so I do really enjoy the these short stories. But yeah, so this is a really short episode. I'm looking at the timestamp. It is a really short episode, and I hope you don't mind, but I'm just trying to keep it a little more succinct because it's a bit of a busy time for me. So I want to just like talk to you and get this edited out so that I can get this to your screen as soon as possible. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this little check-in. And I hope you're having a wonderful December so far. If you're doing countdown calendars, I hope you're enjoying them. This year I am not, and this year I did not make one because I just wanted to give myself a little break, but thinking next year we'll start that up again. But yeah, I hope you're all having a lovely cozy time, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.